Welcome back to our chilling series exploring the haunted corners of the Palmetto State, where history and horror intertwine in ways that defy explanation. In this fifth episode of Most Haunted Places in South Carolina, we delve deeper into the shadows cast by ghostly legends, uncovering tales so spine-tingling they'll leave you questioning the boundaries between the living and the dead. From forgotten asylums shrouded in despair to Civil War battlefields frozen in time, South Carolina is a treasure trove of spectral stories rooted in sorrow, betrayal, and unrelenting mystery. South Carolina's haunted places are more than just locations. They're vessels carrying the echoes of lives lived and lost. These sites bear witness to events that continue to reverberate through time, battles fought on hallowed ground, unspeakable crimes cloaked in secrecy, and the lingering presence of those who refuse to move on. Each place holds its own dark secrets, whispered through creaking floorboards, flickering lights, and disembodied voices that drift through empty halls. Whether you're drawn by morbid curiosity or an insatiable thirst for the supernatural, these destinations promise encounters that blur the line between reality and nightmare. In this episode, we'll journey to some of the most infamous haunted locales across South Carolina, places steeped in lore and fear, where the past refuses to stay buried. We'll peer into the shadowy depths of abandoned hospitals, explore eerie swamps cloaked in mystery, and tread cautiously through historic mansions teeming with restless spirits. Along the way, we'll hear first-hand accounts from witnesses brave enough to confront the unknown, examine chilling evidence captured by paranormal investigators, and unravel the tragic histories that give rise to these hauntings. So dim the lights, keep your ears sharp, and prepare yourself for a descent into the macabre. As we step into the haunted heart of South Carolina, remember, sometimes, the most terrifying truths lie just beyond the veil, and once you cross it, there's no turning back. The Old Charleston Jail, a bastion of despair nestled in the heart of Charleston's historic district, the Old Charleston Jail stands as a grim relic of the city's darker chapters, a foreboding structure whose imposing stone walls have borne witness to centuries of suffering, violence, and untold horrors. Built in 1802, the jail served as a holding facility for criminals ranging from petty thieves to hardened murderers, including pirates sentenced to hang during the golden age of piracy. Its labyrinthine corridors, cramped cells, and ominous gallows evoke an atmosphere of suffocating dread, making it one of South Carolina's most notorious haunted places. One of the most harrowing tales tied to the Old Charleston Jail revolves around Lavinia Fisher, America's first female serial killer. Convicted of murdering travelers who sought refuge at her inn, Lavinia was imprisoned here before being executed in 1820. According to legend, her spirit remains trapped within the jail's confines, unable, or unwilling, to depart. Visitors recount hearing faint cries echoing through the halls, as though someone is pleading for release. Others describe seeing a gaunt woman in tattered clothing standing silently near the gallows, her hollow eyes fixed on some unseen point in the distance. Another prominent figure haunting the jail is believed to be Captain John Red Gibbs, a pirate whose execution left a stain on the building's already sordid history. Historical records indicate that Gibbs cursed the jail and all who entered it as he awaited his hanging. Paranormal investigators exploring the site have captured EVP recordings suggesting the presence of a male entity muttering phrases like, "Damn them all," and "Let me out." Witnesses describe feeling an icy draft pass through them as they approach certain cells, accompanied by the sound of heavy chains clanking against stone floors. The jail's basement, once used to house the most dangerous inmates, has become a focal point of paranormal activity. Employees tasked with maintaining the area describe hearing muffled screams and the sound of footsteps echoing through the narrow passageways, though no one else is present. Objects are known to move inexplicably. Tools vanish only to reappear hours later in entirely different locations. One particularly unnerving incident involved a tour guide who swore she saw a young boy playing with marbles in the corner of the room, only for the child to disappear when approached. Theories abound that the boy may have been a victim of illness or accident during the jail's early years, forever trapped in the confines of its lower levels. Modern-day visitors to the Old Charleston Jail frequently recount bizarre experiences that defy logical explanation. Lights flicker unpredictably, especially in hallways leading to the older sections of the building. Doors slam shut on their own, and the scent of damp earth wafts through the air despite efforts to ventilate the space. One guest described waking up to find his reflection in the mirror staring back at him, but not quite matching his movements, as if another entity stood behind him, mimicking his actions. Another recounted seeing a man in a dusty soldier's uniform standing at the foot of her bed, his hollow eyes boring into hers before vanishing without a sound. Despite, or perhaps because of, its haunted reputation, the Old Charleston Jail remains a popular destination for history enthusiasts and thrill-seekers alike. Its rich tapestry of human drama, interwoven with tragedy and loss, creates an atmosphere unlike any other. For those brave enough to book a tour, the possibility of encountering Lavinia Fisher, Captain Gibbs, or one of the countless other spirits said to roam its halls adds an element of excitement and trepidation. Yet, as each new visitor crosses its threshold, they must decide whether they are ready to face the darkness that lingers within these walls, or will they become another chapter in the jail's tragic tale? The USS Yorktown, a floating nightmare moored permanently in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina. The USS Yorktown serves as both a monument to naval history and a vessel steeped in tragedy and the supernatural. Launched in 1943, this Essex-class aircraft carrier played a pivotal role in World War II and subsequent conflicts, earning numerous battle stars and accolades. However, beneath its storied legacy lies a darker narrative, one marked by death, despair, and the restless spirits of those who perished aboard. One of the most enduring legends tied to the USS Yorktown involves the tragic fate of a young sailor named Joseph. According to ship logs, Joseph fell victim to a freak accident while performing routine maintenance on the flight deck. His body was never recovered, leaving his family and fellow crew members devastated. Today, visitors touring the decommissioned carrier often report strange occurrences linked to Joseph's untimely demise. Many describe hearing faint scratching sounds emanating from the walls, as though someone, or something, is clawing desperately to escape. Others recount waking up to find their bedsheets tangled impossibly tight around their limbs, as if restrained by invisible hands. Another spectral resident of the USS Yorktown is believed to be none other than Lieutenant Commander William Billy Thompson, a decorated officer who met his end during a kamikaze attack in 1945. Paranormal investigators exploring the ship have captured compelling evidence of Billy's presence, including EVP recordings capturing fragmented sentences like, "Hold your positions," and "We are under fire." Witnesses described seeing a pale figure resembling Billy pacing anxiously near the bridge, clutching what appears to be binoculars before vanishing abruptly. Adding to the ship's haunted allure are the countless gatherings and celebrations that took place within its walls during its active service. Many believe residual energy from these events remains trapped within the structure, manifesting as phantom sounds of laughter, music, and conversation. At night, when the carrier is bathed in moonlight, some visitors swear they can hear the distant strains of a piano and the low murmur of revelry, as though a party from another era continues to unfold. Paranormal investigators exploring the USS Yorktown have documented numerous instances of unexplained phenomena. EMF detectors routinely spike in certain areas, particularly near the engine room and the flight deck. Audio recordings pick up fragmented phrases like "help me" and "don't let go," delivered in tones of sheer desperation. One particularly unsettling discovery came when a team member set up motion-activated cameras overnight, capturing footage of a translucent figure standing motionless at the midpoint of the staircase before vanishing without explanation. Despite, or perhaps because of, its haunted reputation, the USS Yorktown remains a popular destination for tourists and locals alike. Its picturesque setting and rich history make it a favorite spot for photography and leisurely strolls. For those brave enough to venture inside after dark, the promise of encountering Joseph, Billy, or one of the countless other spirits said to linger adds an element of fascination and trepidation. Yet, as each new visitor steps onto the ship's decks, they must ask themselves, are they prepared to face the echoes of the past? Or will they become another chapter in the carrier's macabre legacy? The Magnolia Cemetery, shadows among the tombstones deep in the moss-draped forests of Charleston, shrouded by ancient oaks and Spanish moss, lies Magnolia Cemetery, a sprawling necropolis that serves as the final resting place for generations of South Carolinians. Established in 1849, the cemetery spans over 90 acres and houses thousands of graves, including notable figures such as Confederate soldiers, politicians, and industrialists. Its serene beauty belies a darker side, however, as countless visitors have reported eerie encounters with apparitions, disembodied voices, and unexplained phenomena. One of the most pervasive legends tied to Magnolia Cemetery centers around Mary Ann Lockett, a grieving widow who spent her final days wandering among the tombstones in search of solace. Historical records indicate that Mary Ann lost her husband and children to illness within a short span of time, leaving her bereft and inconsolable. Her ghost is said to haunt the cemetery, appearing as a translucent figure dressed in mourning attire. Visitors recount sightings of a tall, imposing woman pacing anxiously near specific graves, her expression frozen in eternal anguish. Others describe hearing faint whispers of prayer and hymns, as though someone is conducting a service. Another haunting figure associated with Magnolia Cemetery is believed to be Colonel Benjamin Huger, a fiery preacher who led the congregation during the late 18th century. According to local lore, Reverend Hewitt delivered impassioned sermons calling for resistance against British tyranny, earning him enemies among occupying forces. His ghost is said to wander the nave, his ethereal form clad in clerical robes. Guests visiting the ruins have reported seeing a pale figure pacing restlessly near the altar, his expression frozen in eternal anguish. Others describe hearing faint whispers of prayer and hymns, as though someone is conducting a service. The cemetery's surrounding woods, thick with underbrush and towering trees, have also gained a reputation for paranormal activity. Visitors walking among the weathered headstones often feel an inexplicable sense of dread, as though unseen eyes are watching their every move. Shadows flit across peripheral vision, disappearing when directly observed. Some claim to hear disembodied voices calling out names unfamiliar to modern ears, believed to be the voices of parishioners buried without proper markers. Others report seeing apparitions of men and women in period clothing, their faces gaunt and weary, standing silently amidst the graves. Paranormal investigators exploring Magnolia Cemetery have documented numerous instances of unexplained phenomena. EMF detectors routinely spike in certain areas, particularly near the altar and the graveyard. EVP recordings capture faint whispers pleading for help, interspersed with anguished cries. One investigator captured a chilling photograph of a translucent figure standing in the doorway of the ruins, its hands raised as if begging for mercy. These findings have solidified the site's reputation as one of South Carolina's most active haunted locations. Despite, or perhaps because of, its grim history, Magnolia Cemetery continues to attract curious souls eager to confront its spectral inhabitants. For many, visiting the site serves as both a pilgrimage and a reckoning, an opportunity to honor the lives lost and acknowledge the sacrifices made in pursuit of faith and freedom. Whether you're drawn by the allure of its haunting beauty or the weight of its tragic legacy, Magnolia Cemetery offers an unforgettable experience where the past refuses to fade quietly into oblivion. Patterns across South Carolina's haunted places, themes of tragedy and resilience as we traverse the haunted landscapes of South Carolina. From the opulent halls of Puggin's Porch to the somber grounds of Magnolia Cemetery, striking similarities emerge that transcend individual locations and histories. These patterns are not merely coincidental but reflect universal themes of human emotion, unresolved trauma, and the enduring power of memory. From the wailing wards of hospitals to the shadowed basements of monuments, these sites share a commonality that binds them together in a spectral sisterhood of sorrow and suspense. One recurring motif is the concept of unfinished business. Whether it's the victims of unethical experiments, or the betrayed trust of patients subjected to inhumane treatments, these spirits seem tethered to the earthly realm by grievances left unaddressed. Their presence manifests as restless energy, often communicated through auditory phenomena, cries, whispers, or disembodied voices, that serve as pleas for acknowledgement or closure. This theme resonates across cultures and belief systems, reflecting humanity's innate need to resolve conflict and seek peace, even in death. Another shared characteristic is the role of architecture in amplifying paranormal activity. Historic buildings, with their labyrinthine corridors, thick walls, and hidden alcoves, create environments conducive to isolating individuals and heightening fear. These structural elements act as metaphors for the psychological barriers erected by those who suffered within their confines, trapping emotions such as anger, despair, and regret. It's no coincidence that many reported hauntings occur in spaces imbued with emotional significance: operating rooms where surgeries went awry, basements where bodies were stored, or wards where patients met tragic ends. Lighting and sensory manipulation also feature prominently in these narratives. Flickering lights, sudden temperature drops, and inexplicable odors are staples of ghostly encounters, designed to disorient and unsettle. Such phenomena strip away the comfort of familiarity, forcing guests to confront the unknown. The use of mirrors, a recurring element in stories from various haunted hospitals, adds another layer of psychological tension, as reflections distort perception and blur the boundary between self and other. This interplay of light and shadow becomes a tool wielded by unseen forces, creating moments of visceral terror that linger long after the initial shock subsides. Finally, the prevalence of historical context cannot be overstated. Each location's haunting is deeply rooted in its unique past, shaped by the socio-cultural milieu of its time. The brutal medical practices embedded in the DNA of older establishments contrast sharply with the glamorous yet tragic lives immortalized in urban legends. Yet both narratives tap into broader archetypes of ambition, betrayal, and mortality, ensuring their resonance with audiences regardless of personal experience. By drawing on these universal motifs, these haunted places transform from mere buildings into living repositories of collective memory, inviting us to peer into the abyss of our shared humanity. Thus, while each establishment boasts its own distinct flavor of fright, the underlying threads connecting them reveal a tapestry rich with meaning. These patterns remind us that the supernatural is not so much about the entities themselves but the stories they tell, the echoes of lives interrupted, passions extinguished, and truths obscured. As we continue to explore these haunted locales, we find ourselves grappling not only with the specters of the past but with the timeless questions they raise about life, death, and everything in between. The psychology of fear. Why haunted places captivate us? What is it about haunted places that grips our imaginations so profoundly? Beyond the creaking floorboards and flickering lights lies a deeper allure, one rooted in the psychology of fear and the human fascination with the unknown. These sites, by their very nature, are places of vulnerability. They are where we confront our mortality, stripped of autonomy and control, relying entirely on the expertise of others to heal us, or where justice was denied, leaving wounds that refuse to heal. When these spaces become haunted, they amplify our primal fears, transforming familiar settings into arenas of existential dread. The combination of historical context, architectural design, and the lingering presence of past suffering creates a perfect storm of terror that resonates deeply within us. At the core of this captivation is the concept of liminality, the state of being on the threshold between two worlds. Haunted places exist in this liminal space, bridging life and death, health and illness, hope and despair. This inherent duality makes them fertile ground for supernatural narratives. Ghosts, as manifestations of unresolved trauma or unfinished business, embody the tension of being caught between states. They serve as reminders that the boundaries we construct, between life and afterlife, sanity and madness, are far more permeable than we'd like to believe. For many, visiting a haunted site feels like stepping into a twilight zone where the rules of reality no longer apply, igniting both curiosity and unease. Architecturally, haunted places contribute to this atmosphere of dread through their design. Long, sterile hallways lined with identical doors create a sense of disorientation, while poor lighting and echoing acoustics heighten sensory awareness. These features mimic the psychological effects of anxiety and claustrophobia, making even mundane sounds, a distant cough, the hum of fluorescent lights, feel ominous. The labyrinthine layouts of older structures, with their hidden wings and underground tunnels, evoke feelings of entrapment and uncertainty. Every corner becomes a potential threat, every shadow a possible harbinger of danger. This environmental manipulation taps into our instinctual fight-or-flight response, keeping us perpetually on edge. Cultural influences also play a significant role in shaping our fascination with haunted places. Media representations, from films like The Shining to television series such as American Horror Story, have cemented the trope of the haunted asylum, courthouse, or battlefield as a locus of horror. These portrayals often blend historical truths with fictional embellishments, creating a mythology that blurs fact and fiction. Audiences are drawn to these stories because they reflect societal anxieties about institutional power, systemic injustice, and the fragility of the human mind. Haunted places become microcosms of larger fears: the loss of agency, the misuse of authority, and the haunting specter of mistakes made in the name of progress. Moreover, haunted places appeal to our desire for catharsis. Engaging with these tales allows us to process our own fears about mortality, injustice, and the flaws inherent in systems meant to protect us. By confronting ghostly apparitions and unexplained phenomena, we externalize internal anxieties, transforming abstract fears into tangible adversaries. This vicarious experience provides a safe outlet for exploring the darker aspects of human existence, offering both thrill and relief. It's no wonder that ghost tours and paranormal investigations of haunted places attract participants eager to test their courage against the unknown. Ultimately, the enduring allure of haunted places lies in their ability to mirror our deepest fears while challenging our understanding of reality. They remind us that the past is never truly buried, that pain and injustice leave indelible marks on both people and places. As we walk their haunted halls, we are forced to confront not only the spirits said to inhabit them but also the ghosts within ourselves, the regrets, doubts, and unanswered questions that linger long after the wounds have healed. In doing so, we find a strange comfort in knowing that we are not alone in our fears, that others have walked these same paths and emerged, shaken but alive, to tell their stories. As we bring this chilling journey through South Carolina's most haunted places to a close, one thing becomes abundantly clear: the spirits of the past refuse to be silenced. Each creaking floorboard, each whispered name, and each fleeting shadow serves as a testament to lives lived, lost, and lingering in the spaces we dare to call haunted. These stories are more than mere campfire tales. They are fragments of history, stitched together by human emotion, tragedy, and the relentless passage of time. They remind us that the line between the living and the dead is far thinner than we might believe, and that sometimes the most terrifying truths lie just beyond the veil. But why stop here? If these accounts have stirred something within you, a spark of curiosity, a shiver of excitement, I urge you to take the next step. Visit one of South Carolina's haunted places yourself. Walk the same halls where spirits are said to roam, stand in the rooms where history's echoes reverberate, and let the unknown brush against your senses. Whether you're a skeptic seeking proof or a believer eager to commune with the other side, these forsaken institutions offer an unparalleled opportunity to confront the mysteries that lie just beyond comprehension. There's nothing quite like experiencing the weight of decades-old despair firsthand, feeling the chill of a presence that defies explanation, or hearing the faint strains of voices from another time. And when you return, share your story. Did you feel the icy touch of a ghostly hand? Hear the faint tap of footsteps in an empty corridor? Or perhaps nothing happened at all, but isn't that silence just as intriguing? Your experiences add to the rich tapestry of lore surrounding these haunted places, ensuring their legacies endure for generations to come. Share your findings with fellow enthusiasts, document your journey, and keep the conversation alive. After all, every whisper contributes to the symphony of the supernatural. Until then, keep your lanterns lit and your courage steady. The spirits are waiting.